75 Sparks as we celebrate 75 years of igniting young minds, supporting holistic learning, and empowering students beyond textbooks. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and get ready to pick up some simple, healthy strategies that can truly make a difference in how you approach exams and challenges in life. Before we move ahead with today's topic, I would like to take a moment to share the larger journey behind this initiative. Today's session is part of USO 75 Sparks, a year long celebration marking 75 years of the United Schools Organization of India. USO is one of the India's earliest national educational organization working with schools across India to nurture learning beyond academics, inspiring young minds since 1951. As we celebrate 75 years of impact, this milestone is not just about the numbers of years, it is about the countless students, teachers, and schools whose journey have been touched by USO over these decades. From its beginnings in 1951 to today, USO's impact has been seen in classrooms, conferences, competitions, and learning platforms across the country. In the year 2025 to 2026, USO proudly celebrates 75 years of service to education. 75 Sparks marks this milestone through 75 meaningful activities across India. You might be wondering, what exactly do we mean by a spark? A spark is a purposeful action that creates learning and impact. It may be a webinar, a competition, a conference, or a learning initiative, but at its heart, each spark is meant to ignite curiosity, awareness, and growth. Every spark reflects USO's values and vision for the future. A future where students are not only academically prepared but also emotionally strong, confident, and equipped with life skills. Today's session is one such spark, a small step that can hopefully bring a positive shift in how students view exams, stress, and their own abilities. So today's webinar, a quick webinar, is being featured as Spark number 20 in the USO 75 journey. This Spark falls under the category of special events, thought, leadership, and distinguished engagements. Initiatives that bring meaningful conversations, expert insights, and relevant themes to our school communities. And now, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce today's speaker who will be guiding us through today's topic from worry to winning, managing exam stress the healthy way. Dr. Ridhima Kamal is a public health professional with a BDS and an MPH, known for her work with Arogya Seva in managing collaborations and leading health outreach operations in Northeast India. Her work focuses on improving healthcare access for underserved communities, especially women and children, and addressing issues such as inadequate screening facilities, high tobacco use, and rising non communicable diseases. She views public health as a lifelong commitment rather than just a profession, and she is also creatively inclined, having authored a poetry book and pursued other writing projects. Through her initiatives and advocacy, Dr. Kamal has become a recognized voice in community health empowerment. Welcome, Dr. Ridhima. Dr. Ridhima?
Hi, hi, am I audible?
Right, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So now over to you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kansha, for having me here. I will just share my screen. So
Right.
before I share my screen, I will just ask the students a few questions. Whoever is watching us, is why are we so worried about exams? I am still very worried about my exams whenever exams come. So why are we so worried about exam? What is it that makes us worried? Is it not completion of syllabus? Is it fear of pay failure? Is it the fear of teachers, parents? What is it? Why are we so stressed out? Okay, so I will tell you my example. Why I used to be so stressed when I was having exams is first thing I used to Okay. So let me just tell you why I used to be very worried about exams. First thing first was, I had this fear of failure. Okay. I used to fear what if, and I think that is where I was making all the mistakes. And when I changed that narrative from what if to why not, it changed it all for me, because then I had the courage, of starting from how I look at exams, how I prepare for it. So first thing that I wanted to tell you is, your syllabus has to be covered by your own as well. You have to do revisions, you have to kind of understand what it is, have to take a hold on syllabus. You have to understand what is it, what is being asked, and why. You have to kind of understand it and learn it better. Whenever we are in school, there is this term when they call learn by heart. Learn by heart is something that we have been listening since forever. So when we talk about learn by heart, it doesn't mean that you have to kind of you आपको उसको रटना है नहीं. You have to understand it, think through it, revise it again, revise it 5 times, revise it 10 times, so that it is there and you have the strong hold on it. So now when I'm sharing my screen, just is my screen visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah, today the topic is from worry to winning, managing exam stress the healthy way. Now when I'm studying, I'm doing my research. I sometimes people come and tell me, okay, I'm very stressed. I don't know what I'll do. I know exam is tomorrow. It starts at 9 a.m. I'm not prepared enough. So first mistake that we usually do is that we start studying for any exams 1 or 2 days prior to the examination. That has never to be done. So there is a reason why we have to kind of start reading it from the very beginning to make a very strong hold on the academics and strong hold of the textbooks and so strong hold of the syllabus that we have. Whenever you are reading, whenever you are trying to understand anything, whenever you are into a textbook, do not take it, do not study it just to clear an exam. Don't study it from a point of view where you have to be an expert in it. You will try to understand it. So examinations, why exam stress deserves attention is that sometimes when we are not able to kind of try to, emphasize why exam stress is so important. Sometimes we think, okay, stressed hai, that is fine, he or she will be okay. But examinations are actually high stakes psychosocial events. So I'll tell you why. Whenever you are having exams, you have a thought in your head. You have a lot of psychosocial events going on in your mind. You kind of go through it, go back to it, and then you come back to it, and then you understand it. And then it is definitely linked to our academic outcomes. And it's based on your percentage, and you have to kind of have a curriculum ready. You have to have certain sports to be made. Then yes, there is self-esteem, there is sleep cycle, and then at the end of the day there is a mental health. So research often shows that moderate stress can enhance performance while excessive stress impairs it. So I'll tell you what, when you are taking stress for the reason why you should be performing better, you will do better. But if you are overthinking of it, you are not sleeping properly, you are not taking a proper diet, you are giving up on your body, you're not talking to your body, you're not feeling healthy, that excessive stress may definitely going to impair it, and it will be tough for you then to clear an exam very well. Then, ignoring exam stress. Again, sometimes some people feel that okay, it is what it is. Exam hi to hai. It will be okay. I'll be okay. No. Ignoring exam stress is also can lead to different anxiety disorders, because at the last moment you have to study. Then you have burnout. Then you have avoidance behaviors. Then you, and then 10 hours before the exam you'll think, oh okay, I haven't studied this, I haven't revised chapter 3, I haven't revised chapter 5. Okay, and oh, chapter 10 is also important and I have not revised it enough. So when you start from the very beginning and start revising, start understanding it from chapter 1 to chapter 10, do the smart study where you think that all the chapters are important and not focusing on only important chapters that your seniors or maybe your PPR have told you, then you will definitely do well in exams. give equal importance to all the chapters, be it science, be it science, be it social science, be it English, Hindi, mathematics. Everything requires your equal attention. No subject is less important, no subject is more important. Every subject is very very important for you from your career point of view. And since I am not able to see the screen, so if you have any questions, you can take in type in the chat box, and I'll take it up later. Akanksha, I hope I am audible enough.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, and we are
Okay.
taking the questions at the end of the session, right, ma'am? So don't worry about that.
Okay.
Ji.
Okay. So here, definitely we can take this session answer again. But yeah, do we have anyone who thinks that, exam stress can be lessened or can be reduced if we are ignoring it? Some people have this thought process, and that is a very wrong conception because it cannot be ignored at all. Okay, so since I am a researcher and all the work that I have done is based on the research papers and it's in the national and international context. So it shows that India and globally, around 60 to 80% of students report moderate to high exam stress. India, since we are very keen on scoring very well, getting good percentage, getting good marks, being very competitive, you know, doing excellent and being in the top five of the scoreboard. Definitely, we will notice or we will see high exam stress, and this is not important at all because why are we taking this much of stress? And definitely, I have seen that high prevalence of stress is amongst adolescents, people who are about 15 years of age, and those who are appearing for their board exams and competitive exam aspirants. But I think that we will take up later because students are still very young. And the first generation learners. Um, Sometimes what happens is that we take a road not taken and we take a subject which we feel that nobody has taken before, and maybe the things get a little difficult because you are the first learner of that specific subject. But when we go ahead, let me tell you very very honestly that even if you are a first generation learner, even if you're making a new beginning, it still requires the equal amount of efforts. Even if you're someone who has been learning the same subject generation to generation, still you require the same amount of efforts and equal amount of learning through that. And yeah, girls often report higher anxiety levels. And being a woman, I totally understand that there is a performance expectations, there is social expectations related to that. Sometimes we are told that okay, if you do not do well, हम आपकी पढ़ाई छुड़वा देंगे. There is no need. There is no use spending a lot of money on you. But we do not have to take it on heart. What we have to do is we have to focus on our subject, we have to focus on our syllabus, we have to focus on what textbooks are telling you. And beyond textbooks, also, please try to research on your own. Try to understand how and what it is, and how we can go ahead about it, and how what we are trying to understand, what we are trying to fetch out of that subject. For example, I used to like English a lot when I was in school, and I was also doing poetry over and over again. I was doing poetry, I was doing storytelling. So when I was focusing a lot on my hobby as well as poet and as a storyteller, certainly that enhanced my marks in English because I was making that balance between the subject and the kind of passion I had. It's the same with people who like science. If you are a science enthusiast, you're very passionate about science, what you can do is you can always keep experiment something, one thing or other thing at your home, at your school, or maybe at your at your playground, because your playground definitely entirely runs on physics. There are certain physics principles that you kind of can see or kind of understand and kind of portray into your playground as well. When you are home, when you are drinking water, when you are drinking water in a glass, in a glass bottle, you can definitely kind of correlate that to science as well. Okay, this much ml of water is there in the bottle. This much of water is there in the glass. And if you will kind of start correlating your studies with the work that you see around yourself and not taking studies is like an external thing that you are doing, you will do very, very well. Okay. So I always prefer to like carry a pen and a paper with me. I always have a pen. So I'll show you how it goes. So right now I have like pens. Okay, like I have three pens in my hand. So now I can correlate it with like that. I now I can correlate it with mathematics that I have one, two, three pens, and then I can also see okay this pen writes in orange, this pen highlights in orange, and this is a red pen. So what happens is now I have a correlation of mathematics as well as I have correlation of colors. So I can identify and I can write it. Okay, this is orange, this is an orange highlighter, and this is a red pen. So this is how we have to correlate our studies with the work that we are doing. Okay. We will not emphasize a lot on what is exam stress because that is something you always have been facing that it's a psychophysiological response to perceived academic threat, and I have already mentioned in the very beginning that there is a fear of failure, there is time pressure that okay we have in less time and then we have high expectations, but it's okay, it's not your weakness, it's just a biological survival response that you have while growing up when you are in school. This is a process, is a phase that you have to go through where you have like where but the problem here is we kind of start taking it as a weakness. No, please don't take it as a weakness. I have gone through it, my parents have gone through this phase, my siblings have gone through this phase, my friends have gone through this phase, and trust me on this, we are speaking this from a very a couple of years more experience than you, that we have all survived it. We have all survived the exam stress because we were not kind of taking it as a weakness or something that we have done wrong. No, everything can be managed. Even if you're fear of failure, if you're courageous enough, you're strong enough, you will overcome it. Time pressure, if you've started to study from the very beginning, there would not be any threat of time pressure. You can definitely revise at the end of the year. High expectations from your family, society. I understand. But your family, again, will always be your family. If there is any challenges, any difficulties that you're facing and you're not able to kind of express, do talk to someone who's close to you. Maybe take help from school counselor. And if you think your parents will not understand, maybe you can confide into someone very trustworthy. But still, I'd suggest the most trustworthy people around you will be your parents or your sibling. So if you feel that you are being burnt out and you have a lot to express, you have a lot to share, go to your family, make them understand that okay, this much expectations probably I am not able to take up at the moment. Maybe at after some time I will be able to kind of go a little beyond what I'm doing right now. But at the moment it's not possible for me. So I'm sure they would definitely understand it. And there is I have kind of figured this out is I always prefer a way that whenever I am feeling very burnt out and there's a lot of high expectations from me, I put up my diary. I always carry a diary with me and I start writing it down. I start writing it down, whatever comes to my mind. Okay, I am feeling this way. I woke up in the morning and I was feeling very dizzy. I still have a lot of syllabus to do. I have still not read research ethics. I have an exam in 2 months. What do I do? I am not doing anything. I am just writing it down. I am just jotting it out. As maybe I'm crying, I'm writing it down. I'm angry, I'm writing it down. I'm sad, I'm writing it down. And that certainly has made me feel better. So if you are going through that exam stress, I can recommend you that you should definitely start journaling about it. So, how does our brain respond to the stress? Some of us may be science students, some of us may be looking for being science students, but this technically has nothing to do with the science knowledge. These are very generic knowledge that I'm giving you, that your exams activate the amygdala, the threat center in your brain. So you can just recall it as a threat center where there is a release of cortisol, which is again a hormone in our body, and then it's the release of adrenaline. This is again a hormone in our body. And they release the kind of hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, their effects include reduced working memory. So why are we kind of making us reach to that extent where there is a release of these hormones? No, we will make a balance out of it. If at any moment you feel that there is a reduced working memory, whatever you are reading, whatever you're thinking, you're not able to recall, here's the time when you need to take a pause. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Take a break. Take a break for half an hour. Drink enough water. Take long breaths. Sit in silence. Try to meditate. Try to understand what is going on wrong with you. And then start again. Do not be very, do not force yourself into anything. We are still young. We are still growing. Our brains are still growing. Our hormones are still growing. So do not keep them in a position where they also get confused. No. Whenever you feel that, okay, there is a lot in my head, sit down, try to think properly, try to meditate, try to understand, and then when you start again, there is a grown attention to that, and then narrowed attention becomes better. And this is what we call blackout, blank out. And this happens when you are going to an exam center, or you have pen, paper, everything ready, and when you are trying to write it down, you are not able to recall anything, and you feel, okay, this is, oh, I have forgotten everything. And for example, even if I take example of Akanksha would have also gone through the same. I have also gone through the same. When we have stepped into an exam center, we saw the question paper, we saw the answer sheet, and we were just blank out. Oh no, what happened? Or I read all the read the derivations, I read all the equations, I read all the poems, I read all the stories, I read all the kavita in Hindi textbook. I read everything about botany, zoology. I read everything about physiology, and still I'm not able to recall anything. Trust me, you are not alone. You are not at all alone. Even if 150 people are sitting in your room giving that specific exam, all of us have gone through the same situation. Maybe not in the same exam, but in different components of exams. And this blank out can certainly be handled if you keep your mind calm and composed. That's the whole point. Whenever you're sitting in exam, please take enough sleep before you're going to exam. 10 a.m. exam, revise enough, sleep at 8 p.m. in the evening, a day before exam. Be fresh, go. I know it's easier said than done because neend nahi aati hai, we don't want to feel like sleeping. But when you kind of focus on your exams itself and you have revised enough, please try to take enough sleep so that there is no situation where you are, where you can face blank out. So I've already mentioned what all techniques that we can take is the controlled breathing. So you try to take like controlled breathing, that take a long breath, hold it for a while, and then exhale it. That will always help you. And in fact, this also helps in increasing your sleep cycle better, making your sleep cycle better, just not for exam. Try to incorporate in your daily life also. So since we use a lot of mobile phones, our digital screen timings too much, we have been very involved in different components. Like we have been very involved in scrolling on social media. So try this activity where you're doing control breathing. Whenever you're trying to sleep and there is no sleep, you're not able to sleep. So try to take a long breath, hold it for 10 seconds, and then let it go. This will definitely help you feel better. And then there are certain, it's the grounding techniques where you kind of have to think, sit where, like how I'm sitting, close your eyes, let all the thoughts flow, be it negative, positive, destructive, constructive, whatever. Just let it go, just think through it, and then meditate for a while, for like 5 minutes. Don't sleep, meditate, and then let it go. Cognitive reframing is a little difficult for maybe for you to understand, but it is about changing your entire thought process and reframe it. I will again give you an example. In when I took my 12th standard PC. I initially started with PCM. I took physics, chemistry, and mathematics. And then after 2 months in mathematics, I realized I cannot do it. I am sorry. So I had to reframe it, and I went to PCB, that is physics, chemistry, biology, and then I started again after 2 months, and then I pursued my medicine later. So this entire cognitive reframing is also very important, and a child knows what he wants. So you can always have a way to kind of tell this to your parents and tell this to your peer. And self compassion practices are where you are focusing on your hobbies. So I mentioned that there should be journaling. There should be other hobbies. Maybe somebody's good at basketball. Please give your some time to playing, give some time to writing, give some time to doing your hobby. But yes, always have a good habit. Always have a constructive and a positive habit. Yeah. One, just give me a second.
So don't try to learn everything at once. Break topics into small chunks and focus on one at a time. I think this is a good habit for your exam preparations.
Just give me a second. I have one few more slides. Yes. Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am, all good.
Yeah. So yeah, we always have to focus on self-compassion practices. And I have always told you that breathing, when you have a control on your breathing and you keep on revising it, it leads to lower heart rate. It reduces anxiety. It improves focus. And it always is effective when you practice even for 2 to 5 minutes. You don't have to go more than 5 minutes and you have to do like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. No, it can increase with time 100%. It can increase with months, it can increase with years, but try to do it every day. Every day, if you could, you're trying it, practicing it, learning it, incorporating it in a day-to-day lifestyle, it will make you feel better. And then, whenever there is an exam, you feel a very hard, fast heart rate. You feel, oh, dak dak ho raha hai, बहुत मुश्किल है. I mean, it's very tough. There's a lot of anxiety. No, try to take these breathing activities 2 to 5 minutes every day, and it's going to help you 100%. And stress definitely impairs your working memory, but when you are working on your structured focus techniques, it restores that control, and only one person, one body has control on themselves. So, short focus study blocks. Study for 1.5 hours, take a break. But don't take break like you have studied in 1.5 hours and then take break for 3 hours, slept, went to play and all of it. No, don't do that. Study for 1.5 hours. Take a break for 15 to 20 minutes. Take a long breath. Try to have some coffee. Try to have some tea. Try to kind of do something. Listen to good music. Write it down something. Don't go to scroll Instagram. Please don't do that. Try to focus. Try to be as productive as you can be, and then take some strategic breaks because consistency always matters more than duration. And this is my personal favorite slide is that one exam doesn't define intelligence and potential for any student, but your one exam does also define how prepared you are for facing the world. So that is very, very important that, okay, I realize that this is not defining my intelligence, not defining my potential, but still keep this in mind that you have to give your 110%. And please take exams as a feedback to your preparation. Don't take it as a judgment. No, it's not judgment. Nobody is judging you. It's also only a feedback that you are taking. Even if you're not scoring very well, it is a feedback. Okay, I'll do better in my second semester. I will do better in my second unit test. If you take it as a judgment, you feel, okay, I am being failed intentionally. No, that's never the case. Take it as a feedback. If I've scored 40 marks out of 100 in maths in first semester, I will do better the next semester and I'll do try to explore, try to score better. So this is the kind of mindset that you have to have. And building physiological flexibility improves long-term outcomes. So you definitely have to keep the psychological flexibility that whenever the stress is happening, you have to kind of take hold of it, try to understand it better. So thank you so much. This is from my end. I am now open to questions.
So for question and answer session, I would like to introduce Miss Neena Jain, Secretary General USO.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, Doctor.
Good to see you finally. You are on mute, ma'am.
Dr. Ridhima, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing very well too. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time and talking to the students who are joining us online about exams and stress and everything else. I think stress is not just for exams. It's something that it's a habit that we absorb during student times, and then we take it on even into our adulthood. So it's a good time for the students to be learning about managing it now while it becomes easier for them. So there are a few questions, Dr. Ridhima, and that we have got through WhatsApp as well.
Yes, yes.
Some of them do send us by WhatsApp and don't want to write it down on YouTube. So one of the things is, and I think some of these you've already covered in your presentation, so apologize in advance if it's going to be a repeat. But
No, okay.
what can I do when I feel scared of failing?
Okay, again. So that varies definitely from one person to other person. What can I do when am fear of? I mean, I have a fear of failing. So the kind of I've already mentioned that and covered in my presentation also from my own experience. Whenever I have a fear of feeling, okay, I would just prefer to sit down for 10 minutes, okay, and kind of try to ask myself why I have this fear. Is it because my family is pressurizing me for something or scoring 90%? Or if it is, I mean, it's the society pressure from my school, from my peer, from my friends, from my colleagues, or it is the kind of pressure that I am putting myself into it. So these are the three questions that we need to ask from ourselves whenever we have that fear of failure. If then there could be three answers to it also. If you feel that okay, your parents are pressurizing, my parents are pressurizing me to score 95%. Okay, Ridhima, you have to score 90%. I will preferably sit down with my parents and tell them, okay, at the moment I'll not be able to kind of score that much. My preparation is not that particularly well. So, but definitely from the next exams, I will try to do better. But I'll also kind of familiarize with them my academic status. Okay, okay, these expectations are good, but I know myself, and I think I'll not be able to cover that up. First thing first. Second, when if you're feeling that pressure from your friends and peer in society, please ignore them. Because when you try to go and talk to them, it's when we're 10 people telling you 100 things and you cannot listen to all of them.
That's right.
Our brains are already, I know, overflowing with a lot of things. And then we have to study science, we have to study social sciences, and English, Hindi, mathematics, physical education, biotech, and all of it. Let's focus on one thing at a time. Let's focus on myself. So if you go talk to, I mean, maybe pure or maybe friends, there would be a lot of discussions around it, and I am not ready for it. So if I am not ready for that discussion, I will not be involved in it. Third is, if I am expecting this much from myself, so when I these expectations are coming from within, and I am expecting this much from myself, I will sit down and make a note of it. What is the kind of expectation that I have? Am I, if I am good at science, am I expecting to score well in science and this much is the marks that I need? But apart from marks, marks and scores and percentages is one thing. But am I able to understand the theory enough? Am I able to apply it in the real life? That is more important. There are so many physics principles, physics theories that we have. We read it out and we are not able to recall it. We are not able to remember it because we haven't kind of involved it in our daily life. It's the same with chemistry. It's the same with biology. It's the same with English. If we are reading a poetry, I've already covered that. In if I'm reading poetry and if I'm reading the poem "The Road Not Taken" by Robert Frost, okay, I have recalled it. I have remembered it. I have revised it. But have I tried to understand the meaning of it? So when we try to understand the study that we are doing, if we're trying to kind of understand what we have been like what studies we've been given, that moment, that expectations will will reduce down a bit, and you will understand yourself better, and you will kind of put benchmarks for yourself. Okay, this is how much I am looking at in this 1 year. This is how much I will increase in next 2 years. So this is how I have been working on and focusing on and working through all. I mean, this is my experience.
One question which I think is slightly important, and it comes from parents, because now, up till now, we are just have been talking to the students
Yes.
about how they feel, how to manage their stress. But from a parent's perspective, what should parents do if there is a child, if their child is, very stressed? How can they support them?
Okay. One thing is, please sit with your child. When a child is a little stressed out, when a child it's not, it's not responding or not expressive enough, there there will be certain symptoms to it as well. Maybe they will you will as a parent, you will feel loss of appetite. He's not eating on time. He's not
Mm.
drinking enough water. He's a lot on phone and not responding to you. He's even if you're trying to call him from behind, he's not responding, and he's always on the phone. He's always on earphones. Try to understand those signs first. Try to look at those signs. Okay, then do not shout at them. Do not scold them that, oh, your exams on your head. 1 month, after 1 month you have your board exams, and you're continuously on phone. Because we all are humans. We don't know what the other person is going through. A child would not understand what is going on in the parent's mind, and they're also stressed enough. It's just they're not able to showcase. So, if you're seeing these signs, please sit with them. Try to understand what problems are they facing. As a parent, you would feel a lot of anger. I get it. You will feel very furious. Oh, you did not study all year. I was trying to do this. I was trying to help you out. You could have told me 6 months prior. We would have done something else. We would have made some necessary arrangements. As a human, I would feel a lot of anger inside me that my child was not talking to me enough. But that is the moment when I have to be very quiet, very calm, very composed, and try to talk to the person, try to talk to the child. What is it? Just ask this question, what is it which is bothering you? Okay. So when and a child will take some time to open up. She'll not will answer in
Of
one
course.
go. It'll take some weeks maybe to open up. But be patient enough with them. Be calm. Try to understand. And one suggestion that I might give all the parents is, please do not trust everything on Google. Uh, Please do not trust anything on Chat GPT. Okay, you're going and asking my child is behaving like this. What should I do? No, just trust your own upbringing. Trust your own child. Give some space. Give some time. Give some space to breathe in and let them breathe, and then things will get better.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely well said. As much as, Google knows everything, and ChatGPT is also a very strong contender to that title. I think it's very important to be a little mindful about how things are, and, we cannot just take everything the way we see it. I know, Dr. Ridhima, you were tight for time. Do you have some time for one more question?
One more question I can take up. Yeah.
All right. So there are plenty that we have, and we'll try to answer them from after. But a student is asking, how can I manage time during the exam paper?
Okay. So yeah, certainly there is. It's a very tough question,
Yes,
but
indeed. We've all had challenges to that, so I don't know how you're going to answer it. But
because yeah, I mean, if first March is my first exam, certainly I'm going to have my next exam on 2nd of March or maybe third. So by the time I mean, overcome the trauma of my first exam, the second exam is already there. So that also I covered in my presentation initially. Also is when you are giving equal importance to all the subjects,
mhm.
and you are giving equal importance to all the chapters from beginning from chapter 1 to chapter 10, and do not focus on important topics, important points, and important stuff, you will not really need to kind of manage time during your exams, because you have a hold on almost all the subjects equally. So first exam, if I'm having mathematics, definitely first exams we give a lot of focus on, because that is where I was our first exam. But if we have been studying all year, focusing equally on all the subjects, revising again and again, revising at least 5 times before the exams, between the exams it will be easier for you to kind of emphasize on. And during the exams, please do not start anything new. Do not start any new chapter. Do not start any new topic. Do not start any new study design. Just and do not start any new technique of how you're studying. No, Just follow what you have been doing the whole year. And during the exams, please just manage time to keep it for revisions and not for starting from scratch. So, when you are revising it enough, that time can be managed. But certainly, this is my overview about it. Some people may have different opinion of managing the time. But if you have revised enough, you would not be, I mean, would not find any difficulties in managing time between two exams or three exams simultaneously.
So I think that you have another engagement for which you had to head to. But before you do that, I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to the teachers and the students about, exam and stress and, all of those things. I'm a firm believer that, we are all lifelong learners. Learning doesn't stop the moment you have gotten a degree or you're just have passed school. So, and stress is now something that is inherent to us and is second nature. So learning how to overcome and manage these is very, very important. Once again, Dr. Ridhima, thank you so much for sharing your tips and tricks. And you seem to be in warmer weather than we are here in Delhi, so please do soak up the sun for for us as well. And meanwhile, I'll hand it over to Akanksha ma'am, who will take you through that. So thank you once again, Dr. Ridhima. I appreciate your time. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
when you are
much.
in Delhi next. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will be in Delhi next week. Right now, Bangalore weather is good.
Nice, nice. All right.
Thank you so much, Radhima ma'am.
Thank you, Akansha. Thank you, everyone.
So before we move to the closing, I would like to take a moment to tell you why we choose from worry to winning as today's spark. So I would request Miss Neena Jan to tell us some more tips and tricks about this.
Thank you, Akanksha ma'am. Apologize for the little echo. I think this was a very, very important topic. This is the reason why we chose it as a spark, because learning how we manage our stress is an important skill. The earlier that we get to know of how to do this, the better we'll be able to manage it even later on in life, because stress is not something that's going away the moment we give our exams. So there's a few tips and tricks that our team under Akanksha ma'am has prepared for you. Few things that we can share from best practices. One is, please, all the students who are listening to us, break your content down. We cannot learn everything at the same time. So if there is, and you have to, of course, start planning early. So if you break your topic down into smaller chunks and you focus on that one thing at one time, it will help retention. The other thing is to use visuals. Now, around 65% of the world population are visual learners. There are around 35% which are auditory. So what that means, visual learners, is that we visualize. And when we visualize something, it is easier for us to learn it. So whenever there is a topic to learn, if you find it a little challenging, try to make a visual of it. Maybe in the form of a picture, in the form of a chart, in the form of a diagram, because that will help you remember easier. Having a diagram is also just very, very good and helps us in remembering. Another tip, teach someone else. Sometimes in school, what we used to do when I was growing up is we used to have a little small team. Each one of us taught the other. And when we taught somebody else, that's when we knew what we learned. and it was easier for us to understand the topic. It helps also us to remember better. Now, I don't know how many of you used to do this, but we used to, when I was in school, we used to make fun shortcut. So what that means is if we have to remember something, either we would do mnemonics. So example is like, homes, HOMES. If I wanted to remember the Great Lakes, and when I was growing up, it was not very easy to remember it. So HOMES, the first letter of each of those words is a lake. So H is for Huron, O is for Ontario, M is for Michigan, E is for Lake Erie, and S is for Superior. So like that, if there is a topic which has so many things to remember, write down maybe the first letters of each of those, and then you can make a sentence out of it, or you can make a word out of it. It depends. So that is also another tip and trick for you to learn. Practicing regularly. We know that in math, you cannot just understand a topic if you have seen the teacher solve it on the board and then you think you know it. Believe me when I say this, and I've made this mistake as well, it's only when you practice it and you do it a few times that it comes to you. Otherwise, just watching someone else solve a math equation, especially math equation, and those who have taken chemistry equations, you will have to do it yourself in order to understand it. So practicing is very, very important. Another tip, using colors and highlights. Now, when you have your study material or you're writing things down or something like this, you have your notes, highlight them in different colors. Maybe that will help you remember things better. So if there are topics, you can highlight them in yellow. If there are some important things related to that topic, you can highlight them in a different color, because these are again visual cues that the brain sees. So brain links colors to information, and that's how it will become easier for you to remember. Dr. Ridhima already told you about taking small breaks. I think that's a very, very effective technique. They say that, after a while, each person's brain is, of course, different. Each person's habits are different. But on an average, it takes, after a while, the brain gets tired and will not be able to absorb information at that pace as it would if it was a fresh mind. So taking a break is very, very effective. Another thing that Dr. Ridhima said, which I thought was very valuable, is connect everything to real life. Now, for instance, if we have to learn about fractions, now it's not very easy. In some instances, some children have a little bit of a difficulty understanding fractions. But think about it as a pizza. So a pizza comes and we cut it into 8 slices, or if it's a very large one, then we cut it into 16 slices. That is a fraction. That makes understanding fractions easier. Or we can also say about cutting a cake. If there is a cake and we cut it. So that is also another way for us to understand the concept of fractions. There are many other things as well that you can relate to real life. And the most important tip, always be confident and stay positive. Always remember that learning is not something that you do just now and then that's it and it's done and you give the exam and it is finished. No. Learning is something that is lifelong, as I just mentioned. So it is important that we understand how to learn properly. One tip that I would like to give the students is giving an exam is not it is of course to test your knowledge, but you have to understand that it's a stepping stone. We need to have that mindset of growth. This will help us gain more knowledge. Now, just to let you know, I still remember so I really liked biology a lot. And I still remember the functions of the human body, digestion and, circulatory system and all of those. Because somehow I imagined that the way the heart, the pulmonary vein would come in, the pulmonary artery would take the blood and so on and so forth. So if we are learning, not just for now, but in order to make sure that we remember this for life, this is also going to be a very important step. So please have that mindset. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Akansha ma'am. And I would like to wish all the students the very, very best for their exams. Please remember to be calm, to stay positive, and to relax in this environment. and ensure that you do your best. So, all the best to the students. Wishing you good luck for your exams. Akanksha, ma'am?
Ji. Thank you so much, ma'am, for those such tips and tricks to make us better understand. Just to elaborate these topics, why we choose these sparks, I would like to add my voice into it. So thank you so much to listening to us. So learning to manage stress is not just about handling exams. It helps you student perform better because a calm mind thinks more clearly. It helps keep the mind and body healthy, which is the foundation of all learning. It makes the learning journey more enjoyable and less stressful instead of overwhelming. And most importantly, it builds confidence to face challenges positively, not just in exams, but in life. As we come to the close of today's session, this slide reminds us of something very important. This spark lives on. This spark is more than just a one time activity or a single webinar. It is a learning, a thought, and a memory that we hope each student carries forward beyond today. As we come to the close of today's webinar, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to each one of you for being a part of USO at 75 Sparks. Thank you to our speaker, Dr. Ridhima, for the insightful and meaningful session. And thank you to all the students, teachers, and participants who joined us today and made this interaction so enriching. Together, we celebrate the past 75 years of USO's journey, and more importantly, we continue to inspire the future by supporting young minds, their well being, and their growth beyond academics. We hope today's spark stays with you and continues to guide you in your journey from worry to winning. Thank you once again for being a spark in this collective journey of learning and impact. If you would like to explore more initiatives under USO at 75 Sparks, you can discover all the sparks on the USO website. Do visit usoindia.org to know more about the activities, events, and learning initiatives being conducted as part of this 75-year celebration. Thank you all. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to know more about Sparks and all other activities. Thank you so much for joining us today.